I make the conscientious choice on my show as much as possible never to delve into the world of politics. Like anybody else, I definitely have some strong political viewpoints, but like Michael Jordan said about Nikes, Republicans buy sneakers too. And like, that's the great unifier. Movies, I consider movies to be the great unifier, right? You can be like, even to me, somebody who's like extremely left or extremely right or whatever, but you know what? We can all love Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's one of the truly rare sports and movies, man. They can be like the great unifier. You can be extremely politically right or extremely politically left, but man, if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you're going to be sitting on those stands together, cheering together. Or if you're a movie fan, watching Star Wars together, or all that kind of stuff. I generally try to make sure to keep politics and stuff like that out. But once in a while, something in the world of politics uninvitedly forces its way in to the movie world discussion. In the light of the tragic passing of Rob Reiner, the President of the United States mocked Rob Reiner's death, backhandedly blame Rob Reiner's death on the fact that he didn't like Donald Trump, and used it as yet, whenever I think of Donald Trump, all I think about is Maximus in Gladiator saying, the days of honoring yourself are coming to an end. But once again, using Rob Reiner's death as a way to lie and praise himself. As Deadline wrote today, Donald Trump blames Rob Reiner's Trump derangement syndrome in raging attack on film director even after his tragic death. I saw this morning, and listen, it's not a secret. I am not a fan of the human shit sack Donald Trump. I'm not a fan of him. I saw this and I was 100% convinced this is one of those fake things until I looked into it. And even as ignorant as I believe Donald Trump is, I never would have guessed that he would write this publicly. But the reality is he is now so convinced of his absolute demonic hold over his followers that he now knows he can do and say anything he wants and it won't change anything. TDS is not Trump derangement syndrome. It's Trump deity syndrome. And I'm so tired of this demonic, heretical sack of garbage. And let's just get to what he said. It started good. A very sad thing happened last night. By the way, before I go any further, I was reading that very sad thing happened last night. If Donald Trump had come out and said, listen, I didn't like Rob Reiner. I think he had some stupid viewpoints.
Yeah.
But something like this should never happen. This is a tragedy and our thoughts and prayers. Wouldn't have been the nicest thing to say, but okay. Yeah, I would have been totally okay with that. Come on, say, I didn't think Rob Reiner was a smart person. I didn't think he was a good person. But what happened to him was inexcusable, and our hearts go out to anybody suffering this kind of violence. I would have been totally okay with that. I really would have. Again, not the nicest thing, but I would have been okay with that. This is what the President of the United States wrote, not some radical right-wing nobody in Missouri. This is the President of the United States wrote, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling, but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession, and then he refers to himself in the third person, of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpasses all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us perhaps like never before. Look, I'm not going to be disingenuous. I don't like this guy. It's not a secret. I don't, but whatever. It is what it is. But there are people... There's not a lot of people I don't like, but there are people that I don't like that I think there's a lot of stuff that's beneath them. Even Donald Trump, I thought this was beneath him. It certainly is obvious. Well, everything this lying sack of garbage does is beneath the presidency of the United States. But I mean, I thought this was even beneath him. If you are somebody who supports Donald Trump, by the way, I'm not talking about if you're somebody who's conservative in your political viewpoints.
This is not a conservative statement.
No, this was not politics. And by the way, some people might be surprised that there are certain conservative philosophies in politics that I actually adhere to myself. This is not about whether you're a conservative. It's not even about whether or not you're a Republican. By the way, a lot of Republican government officials have been coming out and condemning what Donald Trump has said. Good for them. If you're somebody who's like a Trump deity syndrome sufferer. Listen, you want to ignore and be okay with the fact that he is a literal convicted felon. I'm not making up words to like cast an insult. I mean, he is a convicted felon by a jury of Americans selected by Trump's own attorneys. He's a convicted felon. And you want to look the other way on that? Okay. A civil court jury found that he did sexually assault women. You want to look the other way on that? Okay. He gets on television in a nationally televised debate and says Haitian immigrants are stealing and eating their neighbors' pets. You want to look the other way on that? You want to look the other way, going back a ways, that he literally is caught on audio tape confessing that he just straight up sexually assaults women. He'll just grab them because he's rich. It's okay. You wanted to look the other way on that? Okay. You wanted to look the other way on, I mean, I could sit here and do the laundry list forever. This isn't innuendo. This is like literal factual stuff. You want to look the way on all that? Okay. Well, now we're movie fans. And we just had this guy, this beloved filmmaker, made some of the greatest films of all time. And whether he was one of the greatest or whether he was a first-time director, it doesn't matter. For the president of the United States to put out a statement like this, it doesn't sadden me as much, Rob, as it saddens me that the state of the United States, I'm a Canadian, but I grew up as a Canadian with great love, as most Canadians have always had before Donald Trump. Whether it was a Ronald Reagan White House or a George Bush White House or a Barack Obama White House or a George W. Bush White House, great love and affection for our beloved neighbors to the south. It saddens me what Donald Trump said, sure, but what saddens me even more is that there are Trump divinity syndrome sufferers who are going to look at this and just, again, go, that's just Donnie being Donnie and turning the other way. I've said this before, and every once in a while I try, because there are politics and then there's humanity. This is straight up human garbage. This isn't politics. This is human garbage on display from the person who sits in the most prominent seat of the world. If you are somebody who endorses this, unsubscribe from my channel, please. I don't need you here. I don't. I'm good for the rest of my life. I don't care if I have 50 viewers tomorrow. I really don't. I don't want you. I would prefer you dream that I not exist, because quite frankly, you don't exist to me after this. If you still want to stand behind this guy and this whatever, and that this is fine, this is okay, and then come out with a bunch of whataboutisms, because that is the hallmark of the week. Well, what about that guy in New York City from his mom's basement who said he was glad Charlie Kirk got assassinated? Well, that guy was an asshole, but he was also a loser living in his mom's basement. This is the fucking president of the United fucking States. So yeah, do me a favor. Hey, if you're a Republican who's here, love it. If you're a conservative who's here, love it. But if you're somebody who's wearing a red MAGA hat, don't come into my house. Like, I'm sorry. You and I have nothing to discuss together. You and I have no shared humanity. And I just think it's best that you not come to my channel anymore. I'll be okay. Don't you worry. I'll be fine. I'm okay. And, just you don't exist to me and I shouldn't exist to you anymore, because this, Rob, at just some point, you got to go, there is something terminally wrong with you if you just keep looking the other way on this kind of behavior, this convicted felon. But anyway,